Today I am going to teach you about cardiac tamponade. You may have seen car engine. Car engine means this one. Engine. They put some lubricant fluid around the engine called engine oil. Why they put engine oil around the engine? To reduce the friction among the part of engine. They put engine oil. How much of engine oil they put? Are they put too much of engine oil? No. Too much small of engine oil? No. They put optimum amount of engine oil to engine. There is a measuring stick also there. The engine oil measuring stick. You can measure the amount of engine oil. The one and only engine in your body. 24/7 functioning until you die is heart. Do you want to put some engine oil around your heart as well? In order to reduce the friction? No. If you put engine oil around the heart, you will definitely die. The nature creates some kind of engine oil around your engine, heart engine, in order to reduce the friction. So called pericardial fluid. Nature put pericardial fluid around your heart in order to reduce the friction of the heart. Otherwise your heart fricks against the chest wall or the lung, heart going to be damaged. To prevent such damage, nature create pericardial fluid and they put that pericardial fluid around the heart engine. And to prevent leak, they create pericardial sac as well. Actually saying, your heart is embedded within pericardial sac, which containing pericardial fluid. Once they embedded fully until great vessels, they embedded within the pericardial sac until great vessels. Inner side of that pericardial sac going to attach to your heart. Outer side remaining the outer part. In between the inner wall and the outer wall, there is a fluid called pericardial fluid. The inner layer of the pericardial sac called visceral pericardium. Outer layer is called parietal pericardium. So this is your pericardial sac, black in color. This is your inner layer of pericardium. This is your outer layer of pericardium. Around that you contain pericardial fluid. The black dot is pericardial fluid. How much of pericardial fluid you should have? You know engine oil, how much you should have. You should aware about your own heart rather than aware about car engine. Next 2 years you are planning to sell that into someone else. You don't need to bother about that much. Next 2-3 years, are you going to sell your heart into somebody else? No. But still you are not bothered about your heart engine and pericardial fluid. Why? Nature somehow manage it. How much of pericardial fluid you should have? It's roughly about 10 to 40 ml of pericardial fluid is there right now around your heart. How much? 10 to 40 milliliter of pericardial fluid is there around your heart right now. To prevent pericardial fluid leak, your parietal pericardium is there. Your parietal pericardium is there. This is your visceral pericardium. Visceral pericardium. This is your parietal pericardium. This is your visceral pericardium. In between you contain pericardial fluid. Now I am going to check what are the whole component of parietal pericardium. For that I am going to cut a small segment here and I am going to enlarge it here. The outer part of pericardium is called, look like fibrous material. Because of that we are going to call it as fibrous pericardium. Inner part loosely attached serous like material. Because of that we are going to call that as serous pericardium. Fibrous pericardium is there in the outer part. Most inner part of that wall is serous pericardium. This is fibrous or fibrous pericardium. You know, inner wall only containing serous pericardium, outer wall containing fibrous pericardium and serous pericardium both. Those fibrous pericardium come and attach to your diaphragm. Lower part does not contain your fibrous pericardium or serous pericardium. It just attached to your diaphragm. Which part of diaphragm? Central tendon. Your diaphragm containing part is called central tendon. Your heart is attached to central tendon, not the heart. Your pericardium is attached to central tendon here. From upper part, it attaches to your great vessels. Great vessels means aorta and pulmonary artery. It containing 40 to 10 milliliter of pericardial fluid. In 1935, Dr. Becks, one of the cardiothoracic surgeons, in 1935, Dr. Becks, one of the cardiothoracic surgeon, did a cardiothoracic surgery. Listen to this story carefully. After that, he went home. Then he received a call. His nurses said, "Doctor, the patient who did the bypass surgery, the person who did the bypass surgery now become hypotense. But his jugular venous pressure is elevated. But his jugular venous pressure look like elevated. Jugular venous pressure elevated. I check heart sound. Heart sound is diminished. Heart sound muffled. His urine output is nil now for the last 2-3 hours. Urine output nil. He shows features of pulsus paradoxus. What is pulsus paradoxus? Difference of the systolic blood pressure during the inspiration and expiration is more than 10. Difference of the systolic blood pressure during the inspiration and expiration more than 10 millimeter mercury, called pulsus paradoxus. Nursing officer discovers that as well. He says pulsus paradoxus is also there. Then she said, I did an arterial blood gas. It shows acidosis. Other than hypotension, there is no reasons to become acidosis. Not only that, doctor, the inotrope requirement also goes up. What that nursing officer said is, one of the very intelligent nursing officers must be. He said, hypotension is there, elevated jugular venous pressure I noted, and the heart sound also muffled. Then the urine output, pulsus paradoxus is there. Due to inspiration and expiration, systolic blood pressure change more than 10 millimeter mercury. Unexplained acidosis there rather than hypotension, and the inotrope requirement also goes up. Then doctor says, can you do an ECG urgently? Yes. Then nursing officer request an ECG. Then nursing officer says, I did ECG. It shows small complexes. Small QRS complexes. Not only that, some QRS complexes is large, some QRS complexes is small. Some QRS complex is large, some QRS complex is small. QRS morphology, not the morphology, complex size. Size change. Then Dr. Becks says, we are calling it as electrical alternate. That means, sir, electrical alternance is there. Electrical alternance is present. ECG shows small complexes and electrical alternance is there. Can you request 2D echocardiogram? 2D echocardiogram shows increased amount of fluid in the pericardial sac. High amount of fluid in the pericardial sac. Not only that, during the diastole time, right ventricle and right atrium collapse. What cardiologist says after doing 2D echo? Increase pericardial fluid amount and the diastolic right ventricle and left ventricle, right ventricle and right atrium going to be collapsed. Then Dr. Bex asks, please urgently do chest X-ray as well. Urgently do chest X-ray as well. Chest X-ray shows enlarged or widening mediastinum. Widening mediastinum and the bottle-shaped heart. What nurses discovered is those things. What doctor asked to do is these things. Dr. Briggs rapidly rushed into that area. He identified, following bypass surgery, some artery going to be damaged again, going to be bleed following surgery. You know how to do bypass surgery? They have to cut here or subcostal area here, not the subcostal area, intercostal area. Then they have to open the chest cavity. Then they have to move lung away. Then you have to open the pericardial sac. Then there is a epicardial artery is there, coronary artery. Here they have to cut here, then come to coronary artery, then bypass done from here to here or somewhere from here to here. After that, they have completely closed the pericardial sac. Completely closed pericardial sac. Due to some reason, if some stick going to be loose here, they are going to bleed into this pericardial sac. What happened? Amount of pericardial fluid gradually increase. If it is the following surgery, sometimes it can drastically increase. With that, what happened? Your heart feeling going to be impaired because now pressure here is too much. Accumulation of fluid leading to high pressure in the pericardial cavity. High pressure. Because of that pressure going to be collapse your right ventricle and right atrium and right ventricle. Right atrium and right ventricle. That external pressure which developed due to fluid accumulation going to collapse your right ventricle and right atrium. They are not usually going to collapse left ventricle and left atrium. Why? Left ventricle size is high. Left ventricular wall thickness is roughly about 3 times of right ventricle. Because of that, collapsing of right ventricle, left ventricle, not that much easy. So what happened is, because of high pressure in the pericardial cavity, it going to impair the right ventricular filling, followed by reducing the venous return. So your patient become hypotension. Your patient become hypotension. Because of reduced venous return, here your venous blood going to be accumulate. Inferior vena cava and superior vena cava, your venous blood going to accumulate. Yes. Accumulated blood within the superior vena cava you can see as elevated jugular venous pressure. Hypotension is they are reduced due to reduced venous return. Elevated JVP also they are reduced due to reduced venous return. Number 3, heart sound muffled. Previously you heard heart sound because you having very thin layer of pericardial fluid. How much? 10 to 14 milliliter. Now you have maybe 200, 300 milliliter of pericardial fluid. Because of that heart sound may not be transmitted into chest wall easily because of large amount of fluid around the heart, and the heart contraction also not that much good. Little bit of volume come into heart. Because of that, your heart sound going to be muffled. Due to low blood pressure, renal perfusion going to be affected. Then your urine output may be very low, even nil. Pulsus paradoxus mean your inspiration and expiration. Systolic blood pressure changes more than 10. It can be seen in patient with pericardial effusion. Previous lecture I told you about the pericardial effusion and the pulsus paradoxus when we are talking about the fluid resuscitation and the fluid assessment of patient. Because of that I am not going to discuss about the pulsus paradoxus here. Then unexplained acidosis. Due to hypotension, your patient can develop unexplained acidosis. Due to acidosis, your nurses has to increase anaerobic requirement. Why small QRS complexes? Again, due to pericardial effusion, the electrical impulse which is generated within the heart transmitted into chest wall has to pass several layers, including large pericardial layer, pericardial fluid layer. Because of that, QRS complexes also small. And the QRS complex shows different electrical activity. How it happened? Because of the presence of large amount of pericardial fluid, your heart during the contraction look like dancing. When heart contraction, first time here, second time here, first time here, next time here, next time here, next time here, next time here. Your heart is dancing. When heart is away from your chest cavity, QRS complex is small. When heart is very close to your chest cavity, during the next heartbeat, QRS complex will be high. Because of the dancing heart, not because of the presence of fluid, because of the dancing heart, your QRS complex also going to be increased. You may be thinking, Dr. Dinesh also dancing while teaching. My QRS complex not going to change with the dancing. Only the presence of higher amount of fluid in the pericardial sac. Because of the dancing of the heart, due to that fluid, your QRS complex going to be changed. That is called electrical alternum. So you can see the electrical alternum is there. So 2D echo, pericardial fluid, higher amount, you can see, no surprising. And the diastolic right ventricle and left ventricle collapse. During the diastole, the right ventricle pressure come into very low level, very close to zero. Because of that, now pericardial pressure is high, right ventricle pressure is very close to zero. Then because of high pressure, the right ventricle and right atrium during the diastole going to be collapsed. Chest, if you take chest X-ray, you can see wide mediastinum because of the accumulation of the fluid. Not only that, heart also look like bottle, like this. So those are the things you can see in the patient with cardiac tamponade. These first three signs, it was discovered by our friend Dr. Bex. Our friend Dr. Bex. Because of that, we are going to call it as Bex triad. One of the pathognomonic thing, if you found a patient with hypotension, elevated JVP with muffled heart sound, you have to suspect pericardial effusion and cardiac tamponade. You have to suspect cardiac tamponade. The causes for cardiac tamponade, number 1, following CABG, coronary artery bypass graft. Number 2, following trauma. You can rupture whatever the vessels here or pericardial vessels. Following trauma, you can develop. Number 3, rapidly growing tumor can bleed into pericardial sac or can make lot of serous fluid into pericardial sac. Tumor can cause pericardial tamponade. If this fluid accumulate very slowly, rather than accumulation very high rapidly like CABG, if this fluid accumulate very slowly, your pericardium chronically stretch. Your pericardium chronically stretch. Because of that, it not going to produce such big pressure. Now pericardium chronically stretch, not going to produce such big pressure. So what cardinal features you may not see, like presence of Beck's triad. That condition is called pericardial effusion, not the pericardial tamponade. Chronic pericardial effusion. Chronic pericardial effusion give rise to condition called pericardial effusion, not the pericardial tamponade. Effusion. Why? With the chronically accumulation, your pericardial sac chronically stretch and will be able to accommodate that amount of fluid. But that same amount of fluid acutely accumulate, your pericardium is not stretched now. Because of that, cannot accommodate such volume, the pressure goes up, you develop pericardial tamponade. Like Dr. Bex did, you can't wait by asking investigation when you are patient having pericardial tamponade. If you clinically suspect pericardial tamponade, you have to do something then and there rather than asking several investigations. For the confirmation, if available, you can just do there. For a while, think patient came in to ETU following road traffic accident. You suspect pericardial tamponade. If you have ultrasound probe there, you can keep and see whether your patient having larger amount of pericardial fluid in the pericardial cavity or diastolic right ventricle or right atrial collapse. If those there, you can do definite management. What I am going to do if you found a patient with pericardial effusion, not the pericardial effusion, pericardial tamponade. Doctor, what Dr. Bex did is asked to do investigation, but we are not going to do that one. Now we are in 2022, not the 21. So what we are going to do? Any case, this is a medical emergency. This is a medical emergency. So you have to act rapidly. This is a medical emergency. You have to act rapidly. Number one, you have to call for help. Any medical emergency, you have to call for help. Mark reserved for that. You can easily take 1 mark. Call for help. Number two, 100% oxygen. It may not cure the disease, but temporarily you can support to improve in the oxygen delivery into tissues. Give 100% oxygen. Number three, call for help and reassure your patient. Don't worry, I is there, I am here. I go through Dr. Dinosha's lecture. I know how to relieve the pericardial tamponade. Don't worry. You can say like that. Then you are also happy. Your patient also happy. So, number one, call for help. Reassure patient, 100% oxygen. Optimal fluid status of your patient. How we are going to optimal fluid status? Give fluid bolus, doesn't matter. Your RVRA collapse, doesn't matter. You give fluid, you can increase pressure here also. Now, until you come into definitive management, you can feel right ventricle and right atrium somehow. So, fluid bolus. And if possible, elevate low volume gas fed. If possible, elevate low volume. If you are patient mechanically ventilated, patient following cardiac surgery, reduce tidal volume. It will help to increase venous return. Reduce tidal volume and reduce peak expiratory pressure. Peak and expiratory pressure you have to reduce, both improve your venous return. If you mechanically ventilate, reduce tidal volume and reduce peak and expiratory pressure. Both help to increase venous return. Number 5. This must be 4. Number 5. Sometimes you may have to increase inotrope level. Sometimes you may have to increase inotrope. Sometimes you may have to, number 1, increase inotropes. Number 6. I am jumping from number to number without writing. 2, 3 is there. Now 5 to 7 I jump. Next one is, if you are patient on sedation, you have to reduce little bit of sedation in order to achieve intrinsic sympathetic drive. Reduce sedation. You are doing those things until definitive management is done. Though none of them not going to relieve your pericardial tamponade. After that, if your patient following cardiac surgery and if your patient now hemodynamic collapse following CABG and if your patient is collapsed, what you can do is remove sternal stitch, and open the chest in the ICU, within the ICU, and open pericardial sutures. Remove pericardial sutures and open pericardial cavity. Thus, we will going to release pericardial tamponade, and your patient will going to improve. After that, you have to repair the bleeding point as much as soon as possible. If your patient following CABG and collapse, open chest and pericardial cavity. You have to do it rapidly. If you found a patient following trauma with the pericardial hemorrhagic pericardial effusion and the pericardial tamponade, you identified patient at the ETU, emergency treatment unit. Now there is no stitch, not following CABG. What you can do? You can keep patient in the semi-recombinant position. Then insert probe very close to ciphisternum towards the left side while aspirating. You have to insert needle from here to here while aspirating. From ciphisternum towards the left side while aspiration. Once it comes into pericardial cavity, you can see the pericardial fluid come through your syringe. Then you can insert tube into that part as well. What you can do is, if you found a patient with trauma patient in the ETU with the pericardial tamponade, you can insert a needle very close to ciphisternum toward the left side of your chest while aspirating. You can enter into the pericardial cavity. Here you can aspirate hemorrhagic sample in case of traumatic pericarditis, not the traumatic pericardial tamponade, not the pericardial traumatic cardiac tamponade. Very good. So you can aspirate. Sometimes, if you following trauma, you may able to aspirate straw color pericardial fluid following cardiac tamponade in that case. Definitive treatment is, you may have to open and you may have to create pericardial window in order to drain this pericardial fluid. From where to where you are going to create that window? From pericardial cavity to pleural cavity. Pleural pericardial window you can create until this healing process have happened. That is how you are going to manage cardiac tamponade. Cardiac tamponade is one of the emergency. You have to treat once you diagnose then and there. How are you going to diagnose? From Beck's trial plus several other, it is not there right now, several other clinical sign and symptom was there. But Beck's trial is, most of the time it was there. It was look like pathognomonic as well. Once you diagnose, you can confirm with ECG, chest X-ray and echocardiogram. You have to attend rapidly. If you are not competent enough, ask senior one to which is competent enough to do pericardiocentesis. If you found a patient following CABG and collapse, you have to open. If your patient is not collapsed, sometime with this maneuver, if your patient improve, you can take patient into theatre if your theatre is available in the DMB and you can do repair there. Otherwise, you have to do opening of chest cavity and pericardial cavity then and there. That is all management of pericardial, no cardiac tamponade. Always I am talking pericardial tamponade. This is wrong thing, cardiac tamponade. Thank you very much.